So, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yes, I realized that we have not had a live since October. Is that right? Like, oh my gosh, girl, life's been lifing. But I'm so glad to see you, each and every one of you. You know the drill. Go ahead and drop your name and where you are watching from. Maya, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? You guys are early. I love it. I love it. Hold me accountable. Let's do it. Good morning, Tasha. Good morning. Good morning. Am I pronouncing Philippia? Philippia? Did I say that right? Hopefully, I said that right. Good morning. Life has been lifing. I cannot believe that we have not have had a live since October. Is that right? That can't be right. That can't be right. It can't be. But thank you so much, Barbara. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Life has been lifing, and I have missed you guys. You can probably see the dogs playing in the background. From Kentucky, thank you so much for joining. Marlana, thank you so much for joining us. It's so good to see you. And so, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've had a live, and I need some accountability. We need to have this girl session once a month. Um, we have to have one once a month. Okay, so we're going to look at the first Saturday of the month, and that will be our time for us to chat, reconnect, get refueled. Renee, thank you so much from North Carolina. Thank you so much. Man, it's been bananas. It's been bananas, Barbara. But I am so happy to be back. And thank each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me today. So, we're going to be talking about a number of things. I know our past lives, we just kind of go with the flow. And I thought maybe this time I kind of have a plan. Good morning, Lorraine. Good morning. Gosh, I haven't seen your name in a while. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I know you guys haven't seen me as much, but I'm back in play and so happy to share time with each and every one of you. Keisha, good morning from Louisiana. Thank you so much. How was Mardi Gras? I have been meaning to get back to Louisiana for Mardi Gras, and I have not. I went to the Essence Festival a number of years ago. It's been many years ago, and loved it. Tanya, good morning. You're joining us from the West Coast. I love it. You're up nice and early. Love it. Love it. So, I'm going to give everyone, I am sure it was amazing. I always said that I could not live in Louisiana. First of all, I would not do any work because the food and the eating and the drive through daiquiri machines, I ain't going to work. I'm not. I'm not going to be functioning and doing normal everyday things. It's just not going to happen. There's just too much opportunity to have fun. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Good morning. We have not had a live since October. I need accountability. Right, all that. All that. I'd be in my waist trainer. I'd be sleeping in it because, and by the way, I do have my waist trainer on because we got to get some things tightened. And so, good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning. So good to see you. Tell me your first name. It is Fee. Is it Fee? Is it short for Phoebe? But you're dialed in from Atlanta. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna talk about life and what happens when life be lifing, and how do we navigate those waters without. Please, Barbara, thank you so much. The first Saturday of every month has got to be our time for us to reconnect, to chat it up, to get caught up, and just pour into one another. Um, I love it. I'd love it. I'd love for you to drop some information. If there are any business owners here, please share a little bit about the businesses that you are operating. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about your business. If you have a website, a storefront, um, please share that information. Tell us about your ministry, Lorraine. This is an opportunity for us to um, share some of the passions that we have. And no better place than a group of women that are already supporting and loving on each other, right? So please take a moment, drop some information about your ministry or business passion. And there may be someone here in this group that's watching live today or going to watch it later. And that could benefit from the things that you are passionate and committed to do out here in the world. Okay. So, what do we do when life blows us away? How do we navigate when things take place in life without kind of disengaging from everything that we are committed to be and do in life? And so I'm going to look to the side a little bit because I've got notes and I've got a couple things that I just want to make sure that I don't miss kind of as we're talking. But, you know, we are in a season where we are pivoting from overgiving, from over explaining, and from losing ourselves when things take place in life. And so that is probably the biggest obstacle I think that we have to overcome really is ourselves when things take place, is how are we going to manage ourselves when events take place in our life, you know, and real things happen. We have losses, we have disappointments, we have setbacks, we have all of these things. And if we're not careful, we can internalize it and disassemble everything that we have been building and working towards, right? And so it's so important that when we when things happen in life that we don't disassemble, you know, and that's critical. Hey, and it's so super important that, yes, please drop all your business information. So when we go through things, our nervous system kind of goes into this mode of trying to protect us, right? To protect and kind of brace ourselves, if you will, for the things that are happening, the event that's happening and taking place. Yes, congratulations on choosing you. And I think that's the biggest thing in this when we have these events that take place in our lives. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That we don't the dogs are like out of control. My daughter just walked in the door and they're like going bananas. Lost my train of thought. Sorry for a second. So it's so important that we don't, and I said this before, but we don't disassemble who we are, that we don't internalize and think that this is a reflection of who we are, or maybe now we have to reevaluate everything in our lives. And so we have to be really careful how we navigate things when they take place in our life. And so, many years ago, I used to kind of hear something that, ooh, 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 hold on. Okay, sorry, I hit my screen and it my keyboard, and it locked the computer. Okay, so I used to say years ago that we have a fight, a natural instinct to fight or flee, right? It's kind of that fight or flight reaction to things when they take place. But let's break that down for a minute. When we fight, right, we attack something, we face it head on. If we're not careful, we really could be confrontational or find ourselves over explaining that thing, right? And of course, when we flee the situation, we are completely disengaging, and we are non-confront we're avoiding the situation completely. And so that's not necessarily a healthy thing to do either. In situations, we can freeze, where we absolutely do nothing in the situation. And then we can, and this was something that I realized that I was doing, was that I was fawning over a situation in my past. And so I might start to overgive in certain areas to overcompensate for the things that were happening in my life. And I was unsure of how to navigate, or maybe sometimes you can't navigate. Sometimes you just have to weather that storm, right? But I didn't necessarily know where to put the emotions and what to focus on. And so that was really a powerful awareness place for myself, was to realize that over time, I was just not necessarily facing what I needed to face in those situations, but I was overgiving in areas that had nothing to do with what was going on. But in a way, found myself even practicing some avoidance in that event. And if we're not careful, we will stop living life. We will get stuck. Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much. Hello, Maya. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure why you're not seeing videos, but I'm back in gear. Thank you all so much for joining us. But if we're not careful, we will disengage from the things that we were working on before that event took place. And we can find ourselves questioning everything that we've put in place. And it's so important that when we go through things in life, we don't internalize it, but we learn how to navigate while maintaining who we are. Because once that event often takes place, that crisis, that loss, that disappointment, what we're really working through is how that situation impacted us emotionally if we're not careful, right? And that's where some of the internalizing can come, the second guessing can come, the disengaging from all the activities that we were working on prior to that event or incident or crisis or whatever that thing is that took place in our life. And so I've missed you all so much, and I'm so happy to be back. And so when these things happen, and so, this is kind of me just sharing life. And as I've kind of come out of this season, or like last month was a heck of a month, and finding myself needing to stabilize myself, this is kind of where some of these thoughts have come from, and just really reflecting on different phases and stages I've been in life, and how, because we all go through similar things at different seasons. And one thing about where I am as a soul is I just give it all to you guys. And I share, and we use these situations as opportunities to grow and share with others, because we don't know what others are going through, and there are opportunities where this information may not be something you need today, but it may be something you need later, or can give to someone that that needs to reground themselves. And so out of this is kind of birthed this method that I'm calling S.T.A.Y. And in it, it stands for a really simple acronym, and it stands for stands for stabilizing your emotions. And that in the event that take place in our life, that we have to stabilize our emotions and not allow ourselves to make decisions based on being emotionally charged, right? I know that for myself, I make better decisions when I am emotionally grounded and when I'm thinking clearly. No one makes good decisions when they're emotionally charged, right? So the more emotionally stable you are, the better you're able to work through things. And that's something I've personally said for years. I don't make good decisions when I'm emotional. So I always work towards keeping myself as grounded as I can. And when I haven't, then I use those as opportunities to learn and grow. Tend to your core routines. It's so important when we go through things, life events, pivots, disappointments, that we don't abandon our routines, because those are the things that will keep you grounded as you work through the things that come up in life. Um, A is adjust and don't abandon. So don't abandon yourself in the process of the things that you may be facing. And Y is yielding to growth and not chaos. And so I just kind of wanted to read that, and then we can kind of dive into it and talk about it a little bit, and what that looks like, right? And so how do you stabilize your emotions? One, in the middle of an event or a challenging situation, crisis, try not to make any decision on that situation for 72 hours. Like, give yourself a few days, 2 or 3 days, to work through that event or crisis before you come to a place where you can start making decisions, right? And you stabilize, and in stabilizing your emotions, what are some of the things that you do? For me, to stabilize emotions, I walk, I journal, I clean. Oh my gosh, I clean when I need to stabilize. I increase my water intake, and I dig in on my self-care, right? I am very consistent with my self-care. So a lot of times, and I've heard this over this journey, is that, oh, these are the same videos. Well, no, it's different content, but my life is very consistent in terms of the things that I do, because those are the things that are important to me, that I need to stay the amazing soul that I am, right? And so every few weeks, I get my nails done. That's a normal part of my routine. So it may look the same because I consistently do that and I consistently wear the same colors and um, sit in the same place, similar places in the salon. So it looks like it's the same content, but it's not, right? Investing in my in time, intentional time, managing my self-care is critical to who I am. Wearing my waist trainer as an example, if I don't feel the best on the inside or I'm navigating something, you better believe that I look incredible on the outside. Because those are the things that help me reset. When I don't know necessarily what to do, I'll go for a long walk. I'll throw my headphones on and go listen to some music. I make a couple of batches of my favorite infused water. I pull out a journal and I do some journaling. Cards, manifestation cards, and a number of you have them. Maya, I know you purchased them some time ago. These manifestation cards. When I can't find the thoughts, I pull out my cards. It's a normal part of my day to day anyway. But in seasons where it's a little windy, I will pull out these cards and I will make sure I use them to help ground me. Um, and so we have to stay committed to routines. And I have a lot of routines, but just pick one thing that you're going to consistently do. Part of who I am is a multitude of things, and it's a layered life for me, right? So I have the routine for my hair, and then I have the routine for my skin, and I have a routine. Yes, yes, I have music that I listen to. That this is my hype playlist, right? I need to hype me up, right? Or I need to pull myself out of something and back into a solid place. Yes, Lorraine. Yes, I don't use disposable plates. I have where's I usually have it on my desk. I mean, I make sure that the water glass that I use is reflective of an energy that resonates with me. You guys know that vintage crystal mug that I always have in my videos. I use those every single day. And so there are small things that when we add to our life, and these things don't have to be expensive things, but the things that consistently resonate with me, I surround myself by to make sure that I can, the more self care and self love I have in my life, the easier it is for me to stay grounded when things happen. Yes, yes, Fee. It is about romanticizing your life. I couldn't have said it any better. And so it is so critical that we don't abandon ourselves in the midst of things that we have happening. And then when it, in not abandoning ourselves, you may have to adjust the timeline on a project, right? You may have to say no to social events because you're going to isolate a little bit, a little more home time. You may rework your schedule in a way where it's not as heavy for you emotionally. So I think it's so important that in the midst of the things that happen in life, that we are very self-aware on the things that we need. Right? And so that is so critical. Like, I am not going to neglect me. And there was a time in my life, excuse me for a sec. I'm sorry, I was closing keeping the dogs in or out. Okay. Sorry, I think the camera actually moves with me, so which is very cool. Thank you, Fee. And I come from a family where my mom always, man, and her sisters, they are huge in self-care. So it was just a way of life. They would make I remember years ago, I would make body scrubs and I did all of these things until I realized that I was putting coconut oil down into my drain pipes and it was in my previous home and it was just not something that I was just like, you know what, I'm putting oil down the drain. I had to kind of find a different way of kind of managing that process, but you know, always taking care of myself. And I learned how to paint my hands and my toes and give myself manis and petties and all of these things. And I learned how to, my mom used to trim my ends and reshape my hair. And so those are things I did with my daughter. And it was always just kind of, self-care was just a part of my life. And so I don't really know a life of not managing my self-care. As I've gotten older, just in learning the things that were super important to me, I just took it to a level that resonates with me, right? So candles being lit and using certain glasses and how I live my life. I remember someone asked me, and this happens quite a lot. I get asked, well, you know, is this how you really live your life? Yes. What you see, this is not a staged life. This is how I live my life. Everything is very intentional for me. Where I place the blanket, what pillows I use, how I fold the blanket, how I organize my clothes in my closet. This is how I live. So it is important to me when I walk into my closet every day that I feel like it's about to be an event for me to decide what I'm going to wear. And it doesn't mean that it's um, necessarily something that's high end. It's more of how I've organized it. As an example, I do not use plastic hangers and have not in probably 20 years. And so there are just certain things that are just super important to me. And I remember on this journey of, there was a time where I could only buy those wooden hangers during Christmas because they went on sale at the home goods stores, and I could buy them during the holidays, and I'd buy a box or two at a time. And then and I remember dreaming about having them in every single closet in my home. And then one day that was my life where I was able to have these wooden hangers in all of the closets in my home. It's a small thing. It's a really, really small thing. But for me, that was just part of the experience of my clothes. And then I coordinate them by colors, just like you would in the retail space. And I picked that gem up from a friend that I had met over the years, and she had all of her clothes kind of color coordinated. And so that's kind of, I loved how that looked. And more importantly, I loved how it felt. Right. And so then I incorporated it into my life. Hello from Scotland. Hey, Nick, how are you? We messaged on Instagram yesterday. I actually responded to your message. Thank you for the beautiful message. I hope you saw my response. Thank you so much for joining us. But yes, having personal standards that speak to who you are the things that will help us maintain who we are in the shifts that happen in life, right? And so when we balance ourselves, it makes it easier to give to others without feeling depleted when you give to yourself consistently. Hear me on that? It's so much easier to give to others without feeling depleted when you make sure that you give yourself what you need on a consistent basis. And again, it could just be a few quiet moments with a cup of a warm beverage, or sitting on your steps or balcony, taking a quiet walk at some point throughout the day. These don't have to be huge events. Yes, yes, Lorraine. Yes, yes, yes. These are all things I use. Same, same. I am not saving my amazing bath sheets, towels for guests. That's not happening. That's not happening. It's not happening. Can't even get that sentence out. I'm not going to save cooking my favorite meals for company. I'm the company. I am the main attraction in my life. And so I am not going to neglect myself, and um it is easy when shifts happen to get lost in that. And I think if nothing else, as we share time on this platform together, you are reminded of ways that you can feed yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And there are seasons that are so hard that I have gone through. I don't even want to remember them. And so grateful to be past them. But in it, what I did was I discovered what I needed to stay grounded. Flip flops, as an example. I wear flip flops year round. I wear them year round because it's something that, as an island girl, for me, makes me I feel so grounded when I do it. And so there are times I'm out and I'm wearing a coat and I've got an open toe shoe because it speaks to me in a way that isn't restrictive, right? And so it's these small little things that we do that speak to us that we have to be consistent in doing. And we can jump in to some questions if you would like. I think it's kind of so important. And so let me actually drop something, and forgive me if I've not caught up on all the comments, but let me drop something about this stay method that I just want you to be able to have as a reference. And in it, what I'm also going to do is drop some of my favorite self-care things. It's a link to my Amazon and it's some of my favorite things. It's my favorite mug. I had a viewer share that she had actually posted a picture of the same mug that I use, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have that mug, I love it so much. She was like, oh my gosh, I shared it with my daughter. Her name's Karen, and Karen shared it with her daughter and how much she loved it, and her daughter went and found it for her. And so this small little thing makes having her tea or coffee an experience. Yes. Yes, I love this feed. That is something that during the spring, I tend to do more spring and summer. And every week I get yellow tulips. Yellow tulips are my favorite. And so I go to Trader Joe's, I walk over there and I get my favorite tulips. And they're yellow. And so it's something that's important to me. So instead of, and I remember in my 20s, yes. Oh my gosh. Nicola, yes. Like, girl, yes. Okay, I'm blinking. Lashes. Yes. It's not silly. It's, and I have this conversation with people all the time. They're like, oh, you don't need them. Like, that's not for you to decide. That's not for you to decide. This is what makes me feel gorgeous, right? And I love how they look. And I've given my daughter instructions on if she decides to have me buried, what to do. Okay, I need lashes. Let me go out with my lashes. So it's just a part of, it's my signature. It's part of what I do, right? I wear neutral lips and I wear lashes. I don't wear mascara, and this is my thing. I don't need to explain that. I don't have to over explain. And this is the other thing that we talked about that I mentioned in the beginning. We are not in seasons anymore. We're pivoting from over explaining. We're pivoting from over giving. We're pivoting from us being last. We're not doing those things anymore. And for those of you that are still in that transition, I'm here. I'm here to help and support you. There are other women here that what I love about the platform that we are building together, and we're doing this together. So thank you all so much for your love and support, the comments and the testimonies and the sharing. I love that I'm able to reach those of you on other platforms. You're finding me on Facebook. You're connecting me with me on Instagram. You're connecting with me on TikTok. And that way we can have some personal conversations, right? That's what I love about it. I've gotten a lot better. I actually downloaded the Meta Suites app to my phone. So now I get all the messages all the time. So forgive me for that, because literally it would be like 4 weeks and I had no idea all these messages were sitting in Instagram, as an example. So now with a MetaSuite app, I'm getting them all instantly and I can respond usually within 24 hours, if not the same day. So, it's so important that we do those things without apology. We're not apologizing for wearing lashes. We're not apologizing for pink toes or white toes. I don't care if you're tired of seeing white toes. If I want to rock them, that's what I'm doing, because that is a part of helping me stay grounded. I have a white teeth routine. I don't deviate. It takes me longer. So I get up a little bit earlier to make sure that I can make time and there's enough space without me feeling rushed to manage my self-care. So, I'd love that you're sharing your routines and the things that really work for you. And because this is so important. There is someone that needs to hear this, right? And it doesn't mean you go and you run out and you buy all these products. Nobody's saying any of that. There are things that you can do and add and that you have in your cabinets, in your pantries and in your closets and in your cabinets that you can add to your life to help, right? If you want a spa experience, create that experience in your bathroom. Put on your bathrobe. Put on some music, light a candle, spray some body mist spray, run a bubble bath. Like, there are all these things that you can do to create that experience in your home. You can repurpose things in your home. You don't have to go out and buy things. Just move a chair around, take a blanket out of a closet and drape it over the bed or drape it over the sofa. There are all these things that we can do. Clean your closets. That is probably one of the biggest things that I do in the midst of an event. And I call them events. It could be a loss, a disappointment, whatever it is. Like, it's an event. Something occurred in your life, right? And if I just call it an event, then instead of a crisis, then events happen. Good events happen and not so good events happen. So I'm not making it this larger than life thing. Not that real things don't happen. It's just trying to put things in perspective so it doesn't completely dismantle you as you work to recover from these things, right? And so cleaning, go clean your closet, try things on, see what fits, what doesn't. The stuff that doesn't work anymore, throw it in a pile and bless someone else. That's usually the first place that I start, and I reorganize. I go fold everything, and I just kind of do a reassessment of what I've got going on. And then I remember that there are things that I haven't worn. Oh, I need to put that on, or I can do this. Or one of the things that I also included is some of just the things that I use to work out. right? I don't spend a great deal of money, but what I do is I find things on Amazon that I can mix and um, match, right? So the gray, I tend to wear, if I'm wearing black pants, it might be a black top. I tend to, I forgot what that's called, but um, somebody help me. When you wear the same color, top and bottom, I forgot what that's called. But anyway, so you just find things that step it up for you that don't necessarily cost you anymore, but you can elevate yourself in that process, right? If you're going to rock the baseball cap, rock it and let it look cute. Don't put it, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, love. So, if you're going to rock it, yes, thank you. Monochromatic look. Thank you so much. Thank you. See, this is why I love us. Love us. And so, again, if you're going to wear the baseball cap, do your hair underneath it and put it on and make it cute, because please no. Like the better you, the more time you take to consistently, and I say this, being consistent with my self-care makes the daily process less time intensive, right? So I take an extra 30 minutes and I do a mask on a Sunday morning, or like this morning I did a deep condition to my hair and I used two different um, um, conditioners. Well, that took probably an extra 30 or 40 minutes, but that is important to me, right? So in the maintenance of having healthy hair, I take the extra time every week to do those things. I had a viewer recently, well, actually it wasn't recent, it was sometime. God, you use a lot of hair products. Well, it also has aided in the health of my hair, the pace at which my hair has grown. And in last month, I cut it I didn't cut it, Kevin. Kevin cut it twice. And so, and then I went to a different hairstylist, and then he had to go in and reshape after that. So I actually had 3 hair chops in last month. And I think I kind of like this length here, and I think I'm going to just kind of keep it right at about this length. And the beauty is my hair grows so quickly that I can kind of make those changes. So anyway, and to kind of move on from that, invest in your self-care. And so consistently managing your self-care makes your daily maintenance a lot easier, and it becomes a lot flawless of a process. I loved wearing lashes, so I learned how to do them so that I could keep that cost to just purchasing the supplies that I needed to manage it, right? And so for me to go to someone every week or 2 weeks to get that done was not feasible for me. That, first of all, I don't have the time for that, and in my mind, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's just kind of how I looked at it. And so I had a couple of lash techs, and the last one I found, she was amazing, and she showed me how to do it. And so I just purchase the products that I need every month, and I make sure that I wear my lashes every day, and that makes me happy. So when life happens, it's important that you don't lose yourself in that process. So I introduced this concept of the STAY method, and I dropped the information, how to stabilize your emotions, tending to your self-care, not abandoning your self-care, not abandoning yourself in the process, and yielding to growth, looking for opportunities to grow and not perpetuating cycles of chaos in your life. So, and I shared it on YouTube this morning that on this journey, there have been a number of viewers that have asked me for different types of products. And so, yes, same. I manage all of those things on a weekly basis myself. And then I go to Kevin every 3 weeks and I get a haircut. Hi, Melinda. Thank you so much for joining us. And so, super excited to share this that this morning I released an audio journey. I think is probably the best way of explaining that. And so it's a 30-day audio, and it has a message from me on inspiring and encouraging you through life events and living your life in becoming her, to not abandon yourself in the process. And so it's something that I have been working on quietly for a number of months and officially launched it this morning, and super excited about that. And so the way it's structured is you get all 30 messages all at once, and you have the opportunity to listen to one every day or binge listen to them. So that is available on my website that you can I think I put the link in the YouTube post, but I can drop it here as well. And then for those of you that want additional support, make sure you have a planner or a journal for yourself, because I think it's so important. Thank you, Renee. Thank you so much. Thank you, Barbara. So I wasn't sure if I did, and so I did. And so before I jump back over to the journal, I'll say that what's powerful about it is that you can walk and take it with you anywhere and listen to different audios as often and as many times as you need to. I took a great deal of care in selecting the music in the background, the cadence of that music, and just in an effort to create something that wasn't tied to a video, but that you could put it on that walk and just go. So in addition to the wealth of products and planners that I have and resources for you, I've incorporated now this audio series, and this is volume 1. So I anticipate having other volumes in the future. I also, as you know, have coaching programs, and I'm expanding those coaching programs. I have Barbara here on today, and she is one of my most recent clients and is actually going to be expanding her coaching. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, whether you have connected with me on this platform, on your sharing time with me on YouTube, whether you've invested in one of the planners. I offer a couple of really amazing free planners. If you have not downloaded the free planners that I've created for you, please do that. You can go to my website, and there's a field that says get your free planner, and you can download the content creator planner and then the life planner. So please do that. It's something that I created for each and every one of you, and it can help you transform your life, organize your life. For those of you that are interested in going a little further, I have a dashboard planner that I personally use and love, and I actually customized it. I'm going to drop the link for that as well. For those of you, I think you saw in my last video, I actually took it and made a notepad out of it. So I printed it. It's customizable. So I customized it for all the things that I manage on a weekly basis. And then I printed it, and then I made it into a notepad, which was a lot of fun. And no, that is not an option when you purchase it. That's a project for you at home if you'd like to do that, but it's super easy to do. Claudia, ¿cómo estás? I'm bien. How are you? Welcome. Okay, memberships. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So I need to revamp all the memberships because I started those initially about 6 months after I started my channel, and so I need to redo that. And I'll work on that this week. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, um, Philippia. I need to revamp them because it's going to be restructured where you'll have some personal messages as well. But so give me a week or so on that because I actually have a plan for the memberships. The way they were set up initially, they were for just kind of if you wanted um, um, priority on messages. And then the highest tier was for coaching to build your YouTube platform. And so I'm going to restructure it. It's really going to be restructured based on the direction we're going in now in terms of inspirational words and support in you becoming her. So I'm so glad you asked that because I need to add that to my list of things to work on this week. So we've got planners, we have the audio, and then we have coaching opportunities as well. And so, like I said, I'm expanding coaching. So, where coaching was specific to YouTube, if you were looking to have a business coach to help you develop your YouTube channel, and that is really more effective if you are already in the space and looking to grow it. It's a lot of information that if you're brand new to starting a YouTube channel, that's probably going to be really overwhelming and that's not going to be the right platform for you or right product for us to use to help you because it's like, I think it's 3 or 4 sessions and it's really, really intense. So if you haven't launched a channel, that's not going to be the right product. And then the majority of my coaching is personal development. It's really where I spend time one-on-one with women, depending on where they are, whether you're looking for just a quick plug-in, you need a 30-minute session, or whether you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit longer, up to a year coaching. Okay. So what else are we want to chat about? Because that is really, I think that's really everything that I had planned really to talk about. And mostly all of it really is just how do we stay grounded when life happens, right? We have changes, whether it's a new role, a new career, a new relationship, a loss of a relationship, relocating to a new area. Just the demands of life sometimes can put us in a bit of a whirlwind and apply a pressure that if we're not careful can disable us. And I think it's so important to make sure that we do not shrink ourselves in the process. So yes, there are going to be some events. I have not planned them yet. My plan was to be able to have something late summer, like a retreat of some sort, whether it was a day or two, probably a couple of days, like a weekend retreat, women's retreat. So I'm still working on that. And then I plan on some local events for those ladies that are here in the metro Atlanta area or within a few, some hours driving and you're comfortable driving in. It won't be last minute. So there will be things that will be planned and announced with enough time. And so I'll be working on those this month because we really need some face-to-face time, especially as the weather it warms up. We definitely need something. So thank you, Barbara, for asking that. But yes, there's going to be a retreat. It's either going to be end of summer or early fall. I'm really not sure. I was kind of leaning towards October initially, but then I thought an end of summer event might work well, but I'm working on that. But I appreciate the accountability because you guys are going to have to help me. We need an event every month, a live event every month, some girl time, and then we have to have some face to face where we get to hug and cry and laugh and share time together. Um, you know, you know, hmm, grounding self-care is critical to keeping yourself grounded, Melinda. And I hate to hear when anyone is going through anything, and my heart is with you. My thoughts are with you, and I know that I'm thankful for your transparency in sharing that you are going through a lot, and I pray that you're on the other side of that soon. Staying grounded is so critical, and it's small things. What are some of the things that resonate with you that make you happy? One of the things that I suggest is coloring, right? Coloring is something that really allows you to not have to feel like you have another responsibility, but it helps you connect with your inner child. Going to a park, getting ice cream. These are things that we may have experienced as children or hoped we would have experienced, depending on what your childhood experience was like, right? And because if the childhood experience wasn't what you wanted it to be, you have an opportunity to recreate it and what you would want it to be. Um, yes, we definitely send prayers to your daughter and to you. Caring for a loved one is not easy. And finding moments to nurture yourself is really critical. I remember in the seasons where and some of you know my daughter was in a horrible accident a number of years ago, and it was a really difficult couple of years for us, and we're kind of on the end of a lot of that now, where she's able to do normal things and back into routine and has schedules and all of these things now for herself. But it was really difficult because I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what time it was. I knew that I had to keep myself as balanced as I could. And I went back to some things that I did when she was an infant. When she slept, I slept. I found there were people, so many people in my life that wanted to show up in different ways, and I allowed them to the best I was able to. There were people that came in and helped walk our dog. At the time, we only had one. And so there were people that would just deliver meals and just do things that help make it easier. And I really am, and in it, and this is not something that is very realistic, but the other thing I did was I stepped away from work. And I'm a solo everyday parent. And so I had the support of my family, and they were able to help me a lot of ways through that. Um, and so it was hard. It was really, really hard but what I had to do was focus on, and this is what I'd encourage you, Melinda, thank you so much, is that you focus on just the basics for now, right? There are a lot of things you that go to the wayside when you are trying to adjust and caring for someone, but you have to find a balance in yourself. And so what I did is, when she would be sleeping, and she slept 15, 16 hours a day, there were opportunities in there for me to, once it's stabilized, I used some of that time to make nourishing meals for us. She couldn't always eat, but I knew that there were always something there we could pull from. I would find opportunities to take a walk. Once she was more stable, I was able to do that. Right. And so sometimes it's just a quiet moment Um, sometimes you can't even leave the house. So sometimes it's a quiet moment on the sofa. It's allowing yourself to feel. It's allowing yourself to go through the emotions, the real things that you're feeling, trying to navigate um, this new event in your life, right? And so I think giving yourself space to just breathe and feel, Melinda, would be the biggest thing, I think. And Laura, is the biggest thing is just allow yourself to feel. You know, there are going to be days where you feel a little overwhelmed, uncertain, unclear, exhausted, and just allow yourself to feel and give yourself the space. Um, and know and command and ask that the things that you need come to you. The people that you need come to you to support you through this, new normal that, new normal, that your new normal, because that's what this now is for you. And that can change day to day and week to week as you find your way through supporting your daughter. So my thoughts and prayers are with you and your daughter, and we're here for you when you need us. Um, yes, coloring is amazing. Hey, Anthony, thank you for joining us. Any other thoughts that we have that you guys need from me before we jump off today? So I shared some of my favorites, reset items, and those things are from my favorite walking shoes, my favorite waist trainer, some of my favorite skincare products. My manifestation cards are there. The manifestation book is there. The teacup is there. Some of my favorite joggers and such. Just really more give you ideas on things that really just help me manage that process, right? In managing myself day to day, because it's so important. And the days that I don't have appointments and I don't leave the home unless I'm sick, this is what I look like every day, because it's so important. This is a part of me being who I am. It's a part of my self care. My makeup is, I use less makeup than I've ever used in my life. And that's as a result of, and I've shared this with you, this is as a result of my journey with tretinoin. I mean, over the last, I think it's almost 18 months now since I started tretinoin, 18, 19 months ago. And it's completely transformed my skin, where I use literally, and I think my last live I did, I showed you, literally, it's a smudge here and a smudge here and a dot here and a dot here and dot, and I just connect the dots, and that's it. And the skin products, the skincare is what allows me to always have that glowing, flawless look, right? And so hydrating is important. What I'm eating on a daily basis is important, because the things that we eat, if we're not eating well, it's going to show up in your skin. It's going to show up on your back. That the back is a huge teller of what's going on with your body. Um, and so it's just important that you make time for these things. So we are not losing ourselves in the midst of the shifts that happen and take place in our life. And the things that we need are generally not very costly, because we can work with the things that we have already at home. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have anything else for me. I don't know. Let me see if I've gotten through all the messages. I think I have. Have I missed anyone? It's so great to connect with each and every one of you today. I just love this time, and I cannot believe, that we haven't had a live in like 4 months. It's crazy. Please don't let me do that again. I got Barbara keeping me accountable, and I know Maya is going to keep me accountable. And Keisha, okay? Nicola, come on, ladies, keep me accountable. Um, Let's see. I think that's everything. Yes, amen. And all will be well. All will be well. I just making sure I haven't missed anything. Hey Tamara, how are you? Good to have you here. I love it. I love your handle, Becoming Tamara. I love it. We are becoming her every single day. Every day we're becoming a better version of ourselves. Thank you so much. I just talked about skin. This skin, it really, and I thought I had really great skin before, but Trent Noah took it to a whole nother level. Whole nother level. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I shared it recently with someone, that Amazon, for those of you that don't have a dermatologist, Amazon now has an online pharmacy. Um, and I saw that they um, offer prescriptions for that as well. And then I used Nurex initially. And I think Amazon pharmacy, online pharmacy is a little less expensive. I think Nurex was like $90 for a 3-month supply. And I think Amazon, when I looked at it last, it was like $35 or something like that. So yes, yes, we are in the best club. And it's like we're aging in reverse. We're taking better care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and physically, and spiritually. We're taking it to a whole nother level. Um, I had no idea um, that I didn't really look at 50 as a bad thing, but it's amazing, this over 50 club. I am so glad. I am so glad, Tamara. I'm so grateful to hear that. Do it. Do it. There are some old videos that I've done that talk about like the steps to like really and the tools that you need for your channel to get started. If you have any questions, you guys know how to find me. In all of my emails, excuse me, in all of my videos at the bottom is my email address. If for some reason you can't reach me on one of the platforms, you can send me an email. I don't gatekeep, so I'm happy to share information for those of you that are interested in looking at coaching specifically for you as a creator on YouTube. You can reach out. I encourage you to already have that channel started and operating before you reach out, because I've given you so much information on my videos to get started, that use that information before you make an investment in coaching. And you need the experience that comes with that. Like you need that experience of kind of figuring out some things, getting your tools, all that information is already on my platform. I have a playlist for those looking to start a YouTube channel. And I don't know, there may be 4 or 5 videos, but there's enough information. And then there's a live that talks about tools, and not wasting your money on all this other stuff, because you don't need it. You really don't need it. And you don't need to go buy expensive cameras. I've invested in cameras. I have about 3 of them, and most of my filming I do on my phone. You just don't need to invest in it. And then lighting, you don't need to invest in these large lights. I actually have, and I'll show you the lights that I use just for are just these, and I have 2 of them, and they're great. And I can use them anywhere. I can pack them anywhere. Like, you want to be able to have equipment that you can just throw in a tote bag and you go. Like, we don't have time to all this other stuff. We don't need to make it complicated. So, okay, I missed a question from Claudia. You asked me, okay, my Spanish used to be really good. It's not so good anymore. I was fluent in Spanish at one point in my life. My grandmother on my dad's side is from Venezuela, and so in growing up in the region of the world that I grew up in St. Croix, like just Spanish was a normal part of our life. Okay, so you're asking me about the Adidas. So let me hold on. Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Sorry, didn't mean to tag your to pin your comment. Okay, so I'll respond to it afterwards. Um, what's your anyone else before we jump off? Anyone else have a channel or started a channel or growing a channel? Anyone else? Because that's the other thing that I want to also do too is start really maybe once you know frequently. I don't have a timeline on it. I guess I just need to think it through where we're kind of shouting out shout out channels. And I try to go through my subscribers and join channels just in support as well. You know, certainly if someone has shared with me that they have a channel, I go and I join that channel. If I haven't subscribed to your channel, it's just because I'm not aware of it. Because there's a lot of messages I miss. And thank you for your patience on that. Literally, I've gotten caught up on all the new messages and I'm going back to messages that are 2 to 2.5 months back. So just bear with me. I go in and I respond to all my messages myself. So it's really important. And I allot an hour or two a day, and it's taken me 3 weeks to get caught up and current on messages. And now I'm just dealing with the previous ones. So a lot of messages come in, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And I respond to those very authentically. So it's important that I carve out time and respond to them. You've taken time to share time with me and leave me a message. I don't take it lightly. Okay. It's my girlfriend time. And that's how I look at my time in responding to messages. So, okay, Tasha, tell us about your channel and drop your handle for us. And anyone else that has a YouTube channel that they're looking for support on, drop your handle. And so even if it's not in this live, the comments are going to remain and we'll be able to support you. Okay, because that's really important. We're here to support one another. So if you're growing a channel and you're trying to reach more women or humans, then we're here to help you do that. Okay. Okay. Okay, there are a couple comments. I can't see them. So just drop your handle, Tamara, into this post. That way we can just all refer back to it because all of the comments will remain even after the live is over. So it was amazing spending time with each and every one of you. If there is a question I haven't answered, let me know before we jump off. You're welcome, love. You're so welcome. It was an honor to spend time with you guys today. I just love this time, and I cannot believe we haven't done this in a while. But we're going to do it more. I know I keep repeating myself, but I've missed you, each and every one of you. So we're going to do this more frequently, more consistently, okay? Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessings to each and every one of you. Have an incredible day and an amazing weekend. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you soon. I'll see you on the next video. Blessings. Bye.